Welcome back. Despite all the warnings, more than 6 million Americans traveled for this Thanksgiving holiday weekend, but there are ways we can all mitigate an extra bump in the expected spike in new COVID-19 cases. I spoke earlier with Dr. Imran Ali. Dr. Ali, happy Thanksgiving to you, sir. As we head into one of the busiest travel periods during this pandemic, what advice do you have for travelers returning home?
Well, people are going to be coming from many different locations where they have met with other people, and that's how the virus can spread. And we're going to fuel the pandemic if people come home and thus resume their normal activities without taking extra precautions.
Cases are expected to spike about 3 weeks after Thanksgiving. We saw this same pattern after Memorial Day, 4th of July, and Labor Day. Is there anything people can do for now to possibly prevent that from happening again?
Well, it's going to happen. I mean, there's nothing that can be done now, but what we can do is people can prevent that bump from being extra large. So when they are coming from different travels, when they are coming from holiday gatherings, what we want to do is we want to encourage people to stay at home for 14 days if they're not able to get any testing done. But if they're able to get a test that's negative, if you stay at home for about 7 days, you should be in the clear.
And Dr. Delta has announced the first quarantine-free transatlantic flights. Passengers to Italy can skip a 14-day mandatory quarantine if they test negative 3 times before a flight. Is this the best way to resume international travel?
Well, I'm getting a lot of questions all day about this. Everybody's excited because they now can go to Italy and not be required to stay there for 14 days minimum for the quarantine. I do have some problems, though, with this. From what I've gotten so far, you take a PCR test about 72 hours before boarding the flight, and then you take a rapid test at the airport before getting on the plane, and then a rapid test in Rome once you land. Now, the problem is with these rapid tests, they're not as accurate as the PCR test. And another thing is, once you get to Rome, you want to get tested 3 to 5 days after landing, because if you were exposed in the interim, it may take that time for the virus to replicate to the point where it can be detected in a test.
Our thanks to Dr. Imran Ali there, and he makes a point that it's not just for international travel, this is for all travel, including domestic, that the greatest risk is to to exposure is not just being on the plane, it's waiting in line, going through security checkpoints, being around other crowds at the airport. So for things for people to keep in mind as they travel home after Thanksgiving.
Definitely.